Let's talk about Daredevil Born Again, and we have episodes 5 through 8 to talk about. So we'll give our thoughts on it, give each episode a score, and then get into spoilers, but we'll give a spoiler warning before we start talking about that. So, Alex, you want to give your scores on episodes 5 through 8?
Yes, yep. So episode 5, I actually really liked this episode, but it was such a weirdly placed and random episode. It almost felt like this was supposed to be like the series opener, and that they just like reworked it and had to fit it in somewhere.
I agree.
Because they rewrote it, you know. I think that's why they must have put 2 episodes out at once. This was the week they did that, because if they would have just put this one out, I feel like people would have been mad. But all that being said, I actually enjoyed this episode. It was interesting. It was entertaining. Not the best episode. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
The next episode I thought was even better. It finally got a little more action. This is kind of where it started. Like I could kind of tell where the plot was going.
Yeah.
So I give this one probably an 8 too, but like a higher 8 than the other one.
Okay.
Episode 7. This is the one. Okay, I'm reading my notes. Okay, kind of same thing. I thought it was a good continuation. I would give it an 8 as well. I mean, I don't think these episodes are like freaking 10 out of 10s or anything, but I think they're great. Like, I'm entertained. It kind of bled in from the last episode.
Yep.
I feel like 6, 7, and 8 kind of, especially 6 and 7 kind of felt similar.
Yeah.
So I give that one an 8. Episode 8 I really liked. This is the episode where I feel like they're setting up. Well, I mean, there's only one episode after this, but I feel like this is the episode where we can get into spoilers. But I think the villain they used in the last couple episodes, I think it was a mistake focusing on that, because there's a lot more interesting things like they could focus on. And this episode is kind of like what I think they should have been focusing on the last few episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So I really enjoyed this one. I gave this one a 9 out of 10. I think it's probably one of the better episodes this season, excluding maybe the first episode.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're pretty similar, except for I think the big difference is episode 5. I don't think I liked as much as you. I thought it was okay, and it might be because of how out of place it felt. I agree with you. It was just so weird. Like, it was...
Yeah, it was.
And it was a lot of standing around and waiting, and like the bad guys were just like not very interesting. I still don't think it was a bad episode. I gave it a 6, so it was slightly above average, but it honestly felt like they filmed most of this for the like original version of the Daredevil show, like you said, like the opener or something. Like it had like MCU things thrown in there that felt a little strange for the tone of the show. I mean, it's fine, but I don't know. It just wasn't my favorite episode, and maybe because of the placement of it. It felt different,
for sure.
It definitely did, yes.
Yeah, even the way it was filmed, it felt different.
Yes, I agree. Episode 6 and 7, I agree with you. They're pretty similar. They were good episodes. I liked the atmosphere of it. The action was pretty good. It went a little different than I was expecting it to, and there were some things that I kind of wished would happen differently, but it still had some really good, intense scenes. I gave both of those an 8. I enjoyed them. And then episode 8, yeah, I also gave it a 9 like you did. It was a great episode, great setup. It felt like kind of a return to form where it had like great camera work, and it had some good dialogue and interesting parts where we'll get into it into spoilers because I don't want to spoil it, but that was one of the better episodes of the season, and I'm very excited for the finale, so I gave that one a 9. So yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I think episode 8 did a good job setting up for the finale.
For sure.
Do you agree with me where, I guess you could even clump in episode 5, since it kind of didn't have anything to do with the plot. I mean, it kind of, they threw in names. But, and this isn't even a spoiler because he's in the trailer, it's like Muse. Yeah. So they focus on Muse a lot, but I don't know. To me, there's just more interesting things to focus on.
Yeah, and the thing is, it seems like they're using Muse to justify some things that, I mean, they've kind of already set up and have reasons for. So I agree with you. It could have focused more on other things. Like, the look of Muse is really cool, and the idea of that villain is really interesting. But yeah, I feel like they could have used him better elsewhere, and this kind of felt like a diversion, like a side quest on the path to the main quest.
Either use him as like a one-off villain or use him as the main villain of a whole season. They did like in between.
They did, yeah. They used him as a villain for 2 or 3 episodes,
Yeah, so it's like they pretty much dedicated 2 or 3 episodes with him, but it's not really having any. I mean, I guess it's moves some plot lines for Daredevil and stuff, but like
it was kind of already set up.
He could have done that with someone else. Yes, we could talk about it in spoilers, but
I agree.
But overall, I mean, I know we have one more episode left. Overall, I'm really enjoying the show.
Same.
I do not think it's on the level of the Netflix show, and I'm not trying to be like a oh, I'm an OG Daredevil fan. I don't think it's a level of the OG show. I really don't. But I still think it's way above average.
Yeah, I agree.
The best thing Disney's put out, I'll tell you that, like Marvel-wise.
Yeah, I still enjoy seeing like Matt and Kingpin and stuff. Like, I'm glad they brought it back, but I also agree it's not as good as the Netflix show.
Is it just me, or does this show, like, it feels like smaller in scope? I can't explain it. Like, in the Netflix show, it felt like an actual city. In this show, I feel like I'm seeing 2 or 3 sets all the time.
Yeah, and maybe because it's like a reboot, or maybe because it's Disney. So...
Yeah, I don't know. I was noticing out this episode, I'm like, I'm loving the show, but it's Fisk in his office, or Fisk in that dungeon thing, and Matt in his apartment, or Matt at his law firm.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Netflix show, I felt like it was like a lived-in city.
Yeah, it did a really good job of showing the city.
Yeah, but anyways, that's just a couple negatives I had. But yeah, we can get into spoilers if you don't have anything else.
Yep. So spoiler alert for Daredevil Born Again, episodes 5 through 8.
So my biggest thing is, why not just use Bullseye as the main villain and to get Matt to revert back? Why do the side quests like you said with Muse? Like, it's so much more interesting seeing Bullseye.
I agree. And like episode 8, him being like moved into Gen Pop and then having the scene with Matt, it all felt kind of rushed a little bit. Like, I feel like we could have had some of that in episodes 6 and 7 if they didn't focus on Muse as much and had that mystery of like who moved him and who even like paid him to kill Foggy. Like, some of that, it feels like they set up in the first few episodes and then they went away from it for a while, and now it's like all of a sudden, he was paid, we know this. Like, okay, why weren't you doing... Yeah, it seems a little fragmented, and that might be because of the reworking.
It has to be, right? Because there could have been scenes throughout the whole series with, Matt visiting, him in jail, or conversations, or him trying to figure out this mystery, and maybe Matt realizing that, he might be the hitman, but he's not like the one who did this. Like there could have been so much personal, like, this is the perfect opportunity to have like that personal villain, man. And they didn't utilize Bullseye the whole season.
It would have been better for Matt's like, oh, should I be Daredevil or shouldn't I be? Like, him struggling with Foggy's killer, and because Foggy's like always been trying to make him not be Daredevil, but justice wasn't served really. And
maybe he needs Bullseye to figure out, maybe Bullseye's like, oh, this is a guy who hired me, he's worse than I am, and him trying to figure out who this guy is, and Bullseye giving him tips or something interesting where you kind of need him, but you're trying to figure stuff out, but you hate him. I agree. I think there's a lot of wasted potential, but I think you're right. I think it's like, I heard that this got a ton of like rewrites, and you could kind of tell. And
that's why it feels kind of broken up and fragmented. Yep.
Yeah. So I think if there is a season 2, I feel like season 2 is going to be a lot more like streamlined.
I agree. Yep.
And so I've heard theories. So is Foggy alive, man?
I've heard that too. I don't know. I mean, they could pull something like
There's
that.
There's a whole comic book off that, man.
Yeah, it's possible. I don't know. How would you feel about that if Foggy was still alive?
I mean, part of me would love it, but part of me would feel like it undermined this whole season and like impact.
That's kind of where I'm at too, because I love Foggy, but like, I mean, the whole impetus of this season was that Foggy died.
Yeah. I guess you could work it to like, well, now Matt realizes, Foggy doesn't need to be his anchor. Foggy could be his friend, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel about it. I mean, I guess I'd be okay with it because like there's a whole like comics based off of it. So it's not like they're just pulling it out their butt because people miss Foggy.
Yeah.
But because I did read that like Foggy is confirmed, like the actor is confirmed for season 2 or something. But people like it could be flashbacks. Like, so I don't know. I'm curious too, because I feel like the first episode they kind of threw in Foggy and Karen, like you were mentioning. And now, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm very curious. I wish I could be in the writer room for these things.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe if he stays dead, I don't know. I really like Foggy.
I know. I love Foggy.
And I guess that's the other thing. So this season with I don't find the side characters as interesting as Foggy and Karen. Like Foggy and Karen, like throughout the whole first 3 seasons of the original show, they like developed into their own. Like they had whole arcs. And I feel like the side character, like his new partner, as of right now, like not really interesting. And who's the lady that he works with at the law firm?
Kirsten.
Yeah, like they don't really have. They're just not as interesting to me.
Yeah, especially Cherry. I feel like they're doing nothing with his character. He's just there to move the plot forward when Matt needs some tips. Yeah. Like that's literally it.
Yes. And the one other thing I did not like and this is me nitpicking, but I find it really convenient that his girlfriend is a therapist for both Muse and for Kingpin.
Yeah, that was pretty...
Really?
He even says...
I think he might have said something about that, too.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, pretty ridiculous.
Out of all, like, the therapists, like, both Muse and Kingpin, come on now.
Yeah, he did say that Kingpin picked her to get to him, and that's possible, but I don't know.
I guess that would make sense. But yeah, but then, like, Muse, like the big villain of season 2.
Yeah, I feel like Muse, we talked about it a little bit, but yeah, he could have been used so much cooler, like as a big bad.
Yeah, it's
for
like
the whole
wasted
season.
Potential.
Like he killed 60 people and got away with it, but then he just gets himself trapped in the psychiatrist's office, and like it ended in a way where that scary of a villain just kind of petered out. It was a little.
That was so
disappointing.
Anticlimactic.
Yeah,
and also they're talking him up like, oh, he was trained by the best Taekwondo leader in the whole world, and that fight sucked.
Yeah,
well, okay, maybe it didn't suck, but compared to like
up to par, yeah, of the other seasons.
I mean, they're like building it up like, oh, he could fight you. He killed his trainer that was training him. Like, I was like, okay, that's cool. So maybe we'll get some cool fight scenes with them, and then like he dies.
Yeah,
I do like the idea of Fisk's task force.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I felt like they tried to use Muse to justify, but they didn't really need to. I mean, he's been fighting against vigilantes the whole time, and like White Tiger and the swordsman guy and Daredevil. Like they had other things that could drive that, not just Muse.
Yes, I agree. I think Muse could have been cool. Like Muse could have been really cool. Like it's kind of creepy.
It was creepy, yes. And
they could have played into like that, like, you know, horror creepy vibe, and they just kind of didn't, you know, maybe for a scene or two, but
right.
And then it's just done. He's done. It brought Matt back going into Daredevil, but I just feel like you could have done other storylines than using like wasting a villain like that.
Right.
Why not weave it into like we were talking about with like Bullseye, like instead of having the first episode or two with Bullseye and then just the last two. Where's the other 4?
Right.
Just weird. That was weird to me. But all this being said, like I honestly really am enjoying it. I think it's filmed interesting. I think I love what's his name, Charlie, whatever, the guy who plays Daredevil.
Yeah.
Charlie Cox. When I see him in interviews, it's so weird because I always just think he's blind.
That's funny.
But like I love him as Daredevil. Like he's Daredevil to me.
For sure.
Kingpin's been great. I'm still wondering, he made it sound like he really is trying to be better. He had like that conversation with Vanessa or something. Like I told you, I promised, and then
I feel like he is for Vanessa, but not for the city. I think that the port thing is all just so he can enrich himself and take over.
Yep. I do like that plot line with Vanessa. I'm so glad they didn't do the angle where like I'm gonna betray Kingpin.
Yes, I agree.
No, have her be like a strong freaking female character, like, and Kingpin knows you can, you know, that was almost like a test for him. Like, look, you trust me, then I'll let you have your kingdom too. I loved that. I'm so glad. I was so worried they're gonna do that. Like, betrayal crap, and that
fits with her character so far. Like, and what I know of her in the comics, like she would never betray Kingpin from what I've seen, or like I haven't read the comics, but like the other stuff I've seen, like the Spider-Verse and all the other stuff.
Yeah.
So I like that they went that route.
Yeah, I liked that too. It made me like her as a character more. So yeah, the Kingpin stuff is interesting. It's kind of interesting seeing like a brute like him trying to like you said, that episode where he's like going to these meetings and songs is funny. And then this last episode 9 or 8, sorry, or was it 7 or 8? 8. Okay, so there's 9 episodes, so random.
Yep.
Why not just go to 10?
Yep.
Like I feel like episode 9 should have been like we were talking about the whole season. Like that ending was how cool. So seeing it, like we got to see what Bullseye, Kingpin, Daredevil in the same room again. You know,
that was cool. That was really cool. And the ending.
And how is the finale gonna happen? Like what's gonna happen in this finale?
Yeah. So Daredevil took a bullet for Fisk from Bullseye after basically being the reason Bullseye got out.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really sure what's gonna happen. Maybe Foggy will show up.
Maybe.
All
the speculation. And
Daredevil's gonna have to fight Bullseye. Something like, does Daredevil try and go after Vanessa since she ordered the hit on Foggy?
That's good. What does he like kill Vanessa?
Yeah, I don't know. That would set Fisk off.
Does that like set Fisk off? You know, like that would be the final straw. I don't think Matt would do that. But
right.
I guess that's kind of the whole theme of the season, touring of how far he would go.
Yep.
As Daredevil. How do you feel about his girlfriend, the therapist girl?
I think it's fine so far. I think they could do some really interesting stuff, like when she finds out he's Daredevil and because she's very anti like vigilante. She thinks it's just like an immature thing to wear a mask. But I feel like
to me, it's almost lazy writing. Like it's such a predictable conflict to have with like a superhero.
Yeah, and it seems very like how it seems very lucky that this person who's so involved in that, like writing books about it, and then I agree, the lazy writing a little bit with her having those two as clients and being the top writer about vigilantes. It seems a little convenient.
Yeah, and we kind of seen it done better with Foggy and Karen when they found out.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about her, to be honest. I just want him with Karen. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, that's true. I don't dislike her as a character, but I don't know if she's right for Matt. Obviously, they had some issues this episode, so we'll see.
Oh, yeah. When he's like, it feels fake or something? I'm like, damn, bro.
Yeah, that was a little rough.
Dude, you can't say that.
Not the right thing to say.
I know. Everything feels fake. I'm like, ooh, God. If someone told that to me, I'd be like, my lord. All right.
Yep.
Anyways, overall, I just realized this last episode, like, because I was trying to give the whole season to kind of form my opinions, but I realized this last episode that it's definitely not as good as the Netflix show for me.
Yeah, I agree. Like, there still hasn't been a hallway scene that's like, I mean, the first episode had one kind of, and it was good, but not up to the Netflix show.
And even and I remember specifically like season 3 of Daredevil. I loved that season. It was so good.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember a lot of it, but
some of it. But
yeah, I need to rewatch those.
Yeah, I want to now.
But that being said, like this for the reshoots and problems it had, and like with it being Disney now, it's better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I agree.
I am excited for the finale.
There were a couple of things in this episode. So, like in episode 7, there was some really weird ADR stuff, like Kingpin looking away and he's obviously not talking, but his voice comes out. And some of the episodes seem inconsistent in that, because like episode 8 was shot beautifully. They had really cool scenes with like Fisk whispering so only Matt could hear, and like the blue filter thing on Bullseye was like shot really cool. So like, I don't know, it just feels weird how it's jumping back and forth between like shot kind of blandly and then shot really cool. And
I think they probably just added those random lines in and rearranged episodes, like episode 5. And because as much as I said I enjoyed episode 5, it tonally, the way it was filmed, everything about episode 5 felt way different. Like it was a different showrunner. Yeah, and then tying it to like Kamala's dad, which I actually liked their relationship. I want to see him go to dinner over there.
Yeah, actually, that would be an interesting scene.
But it all just felt so random.
Yeah.
Like as I was trying to think of it as like an episode on its own, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
like,
I could see that.
But it felt like a season opener, a series opener or something.
Right.
Oh, Daredevil, that's Matt. What's he gonna do?
Yeah.
But I agree. Like I feel like they added. It kind of felt like Kraven the Hunter. Do you remember I still see YouTube videos of like that scene when they're talking in that freaking greenhouse or something, and it's totally off.
Yeah, it was bad.
I mean, this wasn't that bad, but
yeah,
it was terrible.
I agree.
But yeah, overall, I'm enjoying it, and I'm just glad to have Daredevil back, to be quite honest.
Yes.
And him back, and it not being awful, because it's not an awful show at all. As a matter of fact, I would still say it's above average. It's a good show.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah, excited for the finale.
Yes, very.